36 years of basketball knowledge and life skills. Your host, Coach Goins, focuses on today's topics on and off the court, helping players and coaches achieve their goals. So get ready for another fast break episode of Basketball More Than a Game with your host, Coach Goins.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another fantastic edition of Basketball More Than a Game. Listen, it is so great to be back home. Yes, I am home in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Going to do a little of Facebook Live just to kind of give people a recap of last weekend. And again, just sitting out on the deck this morning, actually on the front porch. I got my nice hot cup coffee with a little French creamer. Treating myself to a little creamer this morning. But it's all good. Listen, I hope you had a great week. We got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to discuss. But most importantly, I just want to just take a moment this morning as we get ready to get in the thick of things and thank Jason Capel for what a great accomplishment last weekend with the Capel Camp on the campus of Fayetteville State University, along with the United States Basketball Association. So I had the opportunity to go down and participate with Jason, his coaches, and again, the opportunity to meet the president of the United States Basketball Association, Mr. Mark Thompson, who I talked to several times via telephone. But to put a face and a name together, what a great opportunity. Also had an opportunity to meet Coach Capel's former players. Again, great to see my homeboy, what we always call the Pride of the Carolinas. Sherman Pride was in attendance, along with Daryl Sky Armstrong. Those of you that don't know, Daryl was a undrafted player out of Gastonia, North Carolina, played at Fayetteville State, went on and had a tremendous 14-year career in the NBA, and he has been an NBA coach for the last 10 years. So 24 years he has put up his career in the NBA. What a great testimony to him. What a great testimony for Coach Capel, having the eye and the talent to be able to recognize that in Daryl Scott Armstrong. So it's so good to see those guys. Actually, Daryl, the Dallas Mavericks, who he plays with now or coaches now, was actually in Charlotte on Friday night. Then he made the trip down to Fayetteville. What a great time. Great win for the kids. And also had the opportunity to see Coach Capel and his beautiful wife, Jerry. So, so good to see Coach. I know ALS, he's battling that disease. Again, very tough. But the main thing, guess what? I know Coach will, he's a fighter. And again, he will do his due diligence as he moves forward. But again, great to see him. Great opportunity. Jason, again, hats off to you. So I tip my coffee cup to you to honoring your father, as well as taking care of business during the camp. So again, great calls. But most important, let's kind of go ahead and get in and set the offense and defense for today's show. First of all, before we get crunk up with that, let's first thank our title sponsor, Mr. Curtis Jackson, who was actually on vacation. I had the opportunity to talk to Curtis yesterday. He and his wife are doing some traveling, so thank you so much for everything that you do and your continued support for Basketball More Than the Game. We thank you. You guys have a great vacation there in an undisclosed place, so you guys sit back and enjoy your beautiful time with each other. You deserve it so much. So we certainly appreciate him. So for your benefits needs and your insurance needs, please contact Curtis Jackson. He is a licensed insurance agent out of the great state of North Carolina, and now also serving the Commonwealth of Virginia. So please stop by, spend some time with him. You can reach him at area code 919-614-5796. Again, Curtis Jackson, for your insurance needs, please contact him now before it's too late. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Also, we want to thank our followers, and without followers and our people really dialing us in, we will not be successful in our podcast adventure. So we want to definitely thank all of our subscribers. Just to give you a quick little update, we've got about 7 states left, and then we'll be in all states across the country. So thank you for your continued support on behalf of the staff of Basketball More Than the Game, as well as my co-host Mike Quick. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. We thank you for, again, just, taking time out. And I know, money is time, and as we always say on the show, but you just stop and you listen, and that means so much to us as we continue to take time out of our lives and just want to be able to give you that ultimate insight of what may be going on in basketball, as well as anything, not just basketball, but in all sports. But also, we want to thank all of our international sponsors, international subscribers and followers. What a great opportunity, that we have to serve in places as Australia, New Zealand. I got to get my sheet here because I don't want to leave anybody out. Canada, Kuwait, the Netherlands, the Dominican Republic, Germany, Finland, Japan, Australia, and United Kingdom. So thank you so much for your continued support of everything that we do for basketball more in the game. So listen, I've got my Axe basketball shirt on. Registration is alive and well. So all of those folks that are listening in the Augusta County area, please go to www.playaxsports.com for your basketball registration needs. We are excited about the upcoming year. We actually dropped down in age. So we're going to be running from what we call the Little Eagles. They're going to be 6, 7, and 8, and then we'll have the lower league 8, 9, and 10, and then the upper league will be 12 through 15. So the middle age group will be 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then from 12 above will be our upper league. So we certainly so excited about that. They had actually 2 dynamic coaches that will be taking over. One will be Mr. Rob Shirley, will be taking over the lower league, and then Coach Ernest Spragler will be heading up the upper league. So I certainly appreciate these gentlemen coming alongside of me, helping us again continue to roll out our recreation basketball. We are going to do our best with assistance from our Lord and Savior to provide a top-notch program this year. We have done some great enhancements in our gym. Our new gym is almost complete. They're working on the floor. Scoreboards are mounted. And again, we are looking, we are so excited. And we're also in the laboratory right now in the very early beta state, working on a basketball academy. So that's all I'm going to say about that at this point. But we are so excited about the direction that we're moving. And we just want to thank everybody for your continued support. But again, if you are interested in playing basketball for Axe Sports, and Axe Sports stands for Advancing Christ Through Sports, please come out and check us out at www.playaxsports.com for your basketball needs. So listen, you may say, hey, Coach, what's popping? You know what, let's talk a little bit about football first. As I reach down and grab my coffee, hey, how about my Steelers taking care of business? I know we got a ton of Steeler fans, ton of folks following that Steeler Nation, but, going out to Kansas City, I think we got their number. We rolled out there last week after coming off, such a poor performance, top to bottom, and I'm not calling anybody out, but we all know we did not take care of business against Jacksonville in the Steel City. We didn't play well, so we should have taken that loss. And as we did, we humbled ourselves and we regrouped and went out to Kansas City and took care of business. And again, did we still look sharp on offense? I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I don't think we did, but that's okay. But what we're able to do is stop, regroup, and go ahead and get that victory and get on that plane and get on back to the Steel City. So tomorrow we have none other than the Cincinnati Bengals, and that's always a challenge because you know why? Why is it a challenge? Because it is in the AFC North. So therefore, we've got to make sure that we buckle up and we come hard. For those of you that know Steeler Nation from back in the day, we used to be in the AFC Central. Oh man, I love that division. Growing up watching the Steelers back in the day, when of course you had Franco, Joe Green, and all of the guys. I don't want to sit here and call people's name out and not give honor where honor's due. But, to win the 4 Super Bowls the way they did back in the 70s, and people said, man, that's a long time ago. You know what? You have to stop and you have to appreciate your history so you know where you're going today. So those of you that are Steeler fans, my challenge, to you is to go back, grab a DVD. I have one, the history of the Steelers, and every now and then, and when I get that urge, I pop that DVD in and sit back and watch it and just kind of relive some of the glory days, if you will, just because of the things that they did. It's hard to fathom them before free agency kicked in. So many gentlemen that was on that team actually went on and won 4 Super Bowls. So tremendous job, Coach Chuck Noll, and then of course rolled in behind Chuck Noll. Was Bill Cowher, and then, of course, at the helm now is none other than Mr. Mike Tomlin. So, you know what? As the American flag is behind me waving, I'm kind of doing this, kind of twofold reasons this morning with the flag. When I came out and I was actually trying to sit up, where do I want to sit? How do I want to do it? it just came to me to say, hey, put the flag over your shoulder and let's make it pop that way. And also the sun. The sun is an opportunity because I'm actually on the front porch and again sipping my nice little donut coffee. With a little bit of vanilla cream, I treat myself this morning to that. So again, hey, listen, we want to definitely give a shout out to none other than our co-host, Mr. Mike Quick. Quick, we love you, man. I hope you feel better. I know Mike was a little sick last week, so we've been lifting him up in prayer as he continues to move forward. But actually made the trip down to North Carolina last week. Mike wasn't able to be there with us, but again, he was there in spirit. But a great opportunity to spend with the Carolina folks that was there. Of course, I didn't mention Phil Ford. Coach Phil Ford was there. It's such a pleasure to see Coach Ford every time I see him. I've known him for several years. But think about back in the day when Carolina was under direction of Dean Smith. Phil Ford would come down the court, hold up the four corners, hold up his four fingers, and just absolutely make it pop. And then with the four corners, and then be able to sit back and listen to him, spend about an hour and a half with the folks that was at the camp, giving them insight. What do you need to look at, academically? How, when does that start? What do you need to do? Prepare yourself, because folks that didn't realize, Coach Ford went on and he was first. He was actually 1979 Player of the Year. And then he also turned around and watch this. He also was Rookie of the Year in the NBA. Tremendous accomplishment. And if you ever go into the Dean Dome and how they have their jerseys lined up, number 12 is front and center. Probably, pound for pound, the greatest North Carolina player that ever. People say Michael Jordan. If you're saying Michael Jordan at Carolina, you might have to regroup and check out a little bit of your basketball history. Even though Jordan was a great player, he did not turn that on till once he got up to the NBA. But again, hats off to Coach Ford and thank him for taking his time out to come down and be a part of the Capo Camp last weekend on the campus of Fayetteville State University. And also, I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to the Fayetteville State University staff, everybody that was in attendance. I met Dr. Brothers. She is I'm going to refer to her as the dean of all of the ventures, community, as well as fundraising and also corporate sponsorship. What a great host. She made us feel very welcome, set us up, made sure that we had lunch, made sure that she had everything dialed in for us. So thank you so much, Dr. Brower. Also a shout out to Ursula Goins, my cousin. That lives in Fayetteville. She came out and we actually had dinner on Friday night, but then she came out and spent her entire day with us as we were doing live scenes, taking some footage, doing some interviews. But Ursula, thank you so much. We love you. And just thank you for your time and your talent to be able to come out and participate and make an impact. And those of you that know Ursula know that she's going to take charge in any situation she's in, and she did that quite well. So, hey, listen, let's just go ahead and talk a little bit about today's insight and as relates to basketball. Here's the thing: it is basketball season. You know what? All in all, it's a great day. The month of October is awesome for sports. Me personally, I love October / March Madness because why? NBA just started this week. Also, you take a look at college basketball. March Madness kicked off. I had the opportunity last night to sit down and watch my Yankees go down and defeat. But that's okay. We got Game 7 tonight. CC Sabathia will be back up on the mound, so we're looking for great things there. And to have my mom here with us for a couple months. And then we would just sit down as a family and just enjoy the Yankees and talk about the Yankees of old and plus enjoy the game last night. But most importantly, you also have college football going. So the month of October has it's a plethora of sports. For those of you that love sports, you can go up and down the channel, flicking and flipping. Actually, I was doing that the other night. And then during the NBA game, I was watching Cleveland and Boston. And unfortunately, young man had the severe leg injury on his first game of the season, first time in the Boston Celtic uniform. So we wish him continued healing and just work through that process. But I actually was flipping between the baseball game as well as the basketball game. So as a sports, I'm going to say fan, a person that really enjoys sports, it's a great time of year as everything starts to uptick, everything starts to make pop. So, hey, let's talk a little bit about those Cleveland Cavaliers. I think, what a tremendous job they did. The GM to be able to go back and let I want to frame that out. Think about you go in the laboratory every year and you got to figure out what you got to do in order to make it pop. So what they did, how do you take a player like Mr. Irvin, as LeBron James always was calling him, the kid? The kid slides out and the kid wants to go do X, Y, and Z. So you know what? What do you do? If somebody doesn't want to play with you, you got to deal them. So he ends in Boston, which is good for him. You want anybody in your organization that really doesn't want to be there. So he slides on. So one thing to do, they drop back and reload. So, they've done that. They picked up Dwayne Wade. They made some counter moves. I hate to see Richard Jefferson leave, but I know it's a business. Richard Jefferson's had a great career, and then he went. I think he's going on to Phoenix, and he signed maybe a 1-year deal out in Phoenix. So we wish him continued success. But as these teams, stop, reload, regroup. A lot of things have to take place because there's only one basketball. And those are the things that we want to call out to the younger players today. Work on your game. Don't always just want to go play. I started working out a couple guys last couple weeks, and that's what I've been telling them. Number one thing, work on your game. Just don't go to the gym and play, because what happens is when you go to the gym and play, you are only if you're not doing it the right way, you're just increasing the opportunities of continuing to do it the wrong way. So what you do is, you get in the gym, and my philosophy, and again, this is Coach Goins' philosophy, doesn't mean that it's right, but what I want to do is just let you understand what do I mean and why do I try to do what I do when I'm working an individual player out. Is for every move that you have, you need to develop 2 other scoring opportunities out of that one move. So what does that mean? So when you come down the court, and I was working with a young man the other day, he did a layup, and I said, okay, show me 2 other moves coming out of this same situation, same ball side of the floor. And then he didn't know, so we stopped and we backed up. Actually, my son Thomas was with me to help, because again, at my age, I don't try to do that stuff anymore. So I try to bring some of these younger guys out and actually have them as the model, if you will, to show the young men that I'm working out. So we do this. So the young man was able to see that, going to the basket, doing a regular layup, how to back up and change directions. And so he had a, right-hand layup. And so from the right-hand layup, we showed him how to put the ball behind his back, reverse it, and lay it up with his left hand. Then same thing, come down again, put it behind his back, and then stop and pop, as we call it. Pull up a little jump shot right in front of the rim. So these are the things as we go through, as we continue to work out players, that we want them to understand what that looks like when they are playing the game. Must develop multiple moves out of the same base move. So every move that you make, Coach Goins always teaches, you must develop 2 moves out of your one base move. So, great opportunity there. But yeah, as we get ready to, get into basketball, we're so excited about the season, so excited about the new guys that are coming alongside us, and as we continue to embark, basketball is a great opportunity, for young kids to come out, learn the game, as well as coaches. So our challenge this morning, what we're going to put out there is, we're going to challenge the coaches to say, how are you sharpening the iron? As I get me a little French vanilla there with my donut shop, what are you doing to sharpen your skills? So, hey, here's the thing, go to YouTube, read a book, and watch some video. Watch the game. When I say watch the game with a different set of eyes. Watch the game dissecting individual plays. Because here's the thing that people don't know. LeBron James is actually left-handed. I'm going to say that again. LeBron James actually is left-handed, but he plays basketball right-handed. You say, Coach Goins, how do you know? I had the opportunity, and I actually working now every day with LeBron's former AAU basketball coach. So he's giving me some insights. He's showing me different things. He's showing me different moves. Okay, yeah, we'll talk basketball, and he'll get up and show me. He actually played at the University of Miami of Ohio. For those of you Steeler fans know, that's Ben Roethlisberger's alma mater. But this gentleman has really, really worked with LeBron down during the years, so I had the opportunity to meet him. And now that we work together, of course, Coach Goins, I'm on the grind, so I'm always going to be asking those questions and showing. So, hopefully we'll be able to have him on the show before too long. But what a great addition to our current staff, where I'm employed. To bring on the gentleman such as this caliber, tapping into that basketball. So coaches, always be looking, always be asking questions, and always be mindful that, number one, that you don't know everything. Number two, you got to be willing to ask questions. And number three, take it. Now, as I always tell people, as we open up our show, you got to lean, listen, and learn. Okay, lean. That means what? Lean in. So you're making sure that you can hear. And then you want to do listen what they're telling. Because that's why we have 2 ears. And then you learn. You take it, you mold it, you make it your own. And you put your spice, you put your philosophy, and then you move forward. Those are the critical pieces as developing young talent. Okay. So also, for you coaches that are coaching young kids, and actually I love dealing with the young kids. It was so great last night, and I'll go ahead and call this out. As I was sitting there and I was going through and got the call that said that Lee had beat Riverheads, and I was sitting and I kind of went on Facebook and I was looking through, and I actually saw 2 of my former players interviewed last night after the ball game. So of course, me being who I am, I'm pretty excited about it. So of course, I sit up and I dial it in, and then I tell my mom, I say, hey, listen, I said, this young man here played for me a couple of years ago, and then it goes to the next gentleman that gets on the microphone. Actually, I coached him doing recreation basketball when I coached at the Y for 1 year. That's what it's about. That's why I get up on Saturday morning, come down, fix my coffee. Here's to you, happy Saturday morning, and then sit down and have that opportunity, to discuss and talk and meet these young men and just realize that what you do as a coach means so much. Here's 2 of my former players been interviewed on television after the game last night. And actually I saw them not too long ago. The 2 players, they weren't together, but they were 2 different places. But I had the opportunity again just to spend. And when they say coach, that means the world to me. And my mind runs back to last week when I had the opportunity to spend a couple hours with Coach Capel. And I walk in, and he's there, and he smiles, and he gives me that fist pump, and I say, Coach, and then that's what makes us do what we do on Basketball More Than the Game. It's coaches like Coach Capel that we try to walk that straight line of integrity. We try to give back as much as we can. We try to make sure that everything that we're doing is beneficial to the players, not about us, to make sure that we're giving back in the way that only they can understand that. So, let me grab another little sip of my coffee. So that's what makes it so important that we able to sit down and share. And again, as coaches, we need to share. We got to have iron sharpen iron. So you sit across the table from your coaches, your staff, and you sit down and go, hey, it's not the Lamont show, it's not this show, it's not this show. But how do you sit down and you dial it in and be able to do what? Making sure that you're impactful to everything that you want to be able to do. So that's what's so great about youth sports. Don't let the parents come in. Don't let parents, go to that level, and then thinking that you are playing in Cameron Indoor Stadium, you're playing in the Dean Dome or in the LA Forum. So we want to make sure that you understand that you keep all the games and you keep everything nice and squared away for what you need to do inside, and keep it all about the youth. Okay. So listen, let's talk real quick and jumping into the high school basketball realm. Very excited about this upcoming season just because, what's really going on. My great nephew will be a rising senior. Excuse the noise. Like I said, I'm outside. My neighbor just rolled up the hill. But in that, my great nephew is getting ready to enter his senior year, so we wish him continued success. Hopefully, he'll have a very healthy, productive season. Give a shout out to his dad, Jason Jones, who has been on the grind with the Sand Hill Cyclones. You've heard Coach Goins mention him, and actually he's been on the show Basketball More Than the Game for several months ago. But Jason's done a tremendous job with these young men. They went and finished in the top 10 in the nation in the AAU tournament in Orlando, Florida. So no small grapes, no small opportunity there. So in that, you get what you put in. And always remember, you got to put the time in, you got to put your investment in, and he's done a great job. So we wish the Pinecrest Patriots continued success. Also, the Sand Hills Flyers, a good friend of mine, Coach Mike Apple, is the head coach there. So all of these guys, as we talk about basketball, we got to recognize all these teams. And guess what? Let's go ahead and jump on in there and let's talk about that stuff. We want to wish Coach Bobby Collins, head basketball coach at Maryland Eastern Shore, a great season. Also, head basketball coach at Fayetteville State University, Mr. Ken Spencer. We want to wish him a great basketball season. Also, we want to wish Mr. Michael Jefferson. Had the opportunity to go to Kentucky and see Michael Jefferson. He's playing for Transylvania University. We want to wish you a great basketball season. Now let's go down to South Carolina. We want to wish Mr. Pierre Curtis, who's assistant women's basketball coach at Firm University. We want to wish you a great basketball season. Also, we want to wish Jeff Capel at Duke University, assistant associate head basketball coach, a great basketball season. You know what? All these folks that, Coach Goins knows in the basketball arena, we want to wish them continued success before the season starts, because, they're out, they're putting the time in, they're putting the grind in, but most importantly, they are taking young men and young women and molding them into be leaders of tomorrow. So we just wish everybody that is involved in the game of basketball that we know personally, we wish you continue success. We're so looking forward to Coach Collins. This year they play Liberty University at Liberty. So Aaron Elpert, will be in attendance, taking care of business there. And then also Coach Bobby Collins and the Maryland Eastern Shore Eagles will be at Virginia Tech. So we plan on taking down a few folks, and we go roll down the VT and be a part of that basketball game as well. And hopefully when Coach Ken Spencer comes to town, we'll be able to dip down and take a look at that as well. And then also Coach Goins will be live at Pinecrest sometime, maybe not doing the show, but I will be live, meaning me as an individual will be down taking a look at my great nephew playing the game, and hopefully I can go down where they'll be playing multiple games during the year to be able to support him. So, listen, we just want to say, best of luck to everybody as we approach this basketball season, and we just wish you Godspeed for a great season and get rocking and rolling, okay? Hey, listen, we also, we're thinking about doing something, and actually was doing a little research this morning and maybe trying to have a little fun. So what Coach Goins may be doing in the near future is popping into different cities, and what we want to do is call something, Legends of the Playground. So what I'm going to be trying to do is doing some interviews with legends of playgrounds in different cities, townships. So if you know anybody that is out in our listening audience that you listen to, how about shooting Coach Goins a text, or shoot me something on Facebook? You can hit me up on my email, or you can hit me up on Podbean, right on Basketball More in the Game, because what we want to be able to do is take and do live shows with some of the what we call basketball legends. So in a city or a town near you, actually, kind of had this idea when about 2 weeks ago we were in Richmond. I was with Ralph Sampson, and we were kind of hanging out. We were sitting there talking, and it's just like, what, hey man, what about if we ever looked at doing something called Playground Legends? And we go in and we do shows and we highlight, players that, played, that were great players back in the day, but for whatever reason, were not able to take their game to the next level, and then be able to pull that curtain back so we can share with the younger folks, what do you have to do? How did these guys become great playground legends? Because we all know them. Right now I'm in Fishersville, Virginia, which is what I always refer to as the Mecca. But no, in that, if we went to Waynesboro, if we went to Stanton, if I went to my hometown, Southern Pines, North Carolina, and I say, and I rolled up at what we call the park, or I rolled up at the clay hole, and I set up my stuff and said, okay, you know what, I'm going to interview playground legends. Who would come out? Who would be able to solidify? Who would be able to tell us some of the stories of the great players from back in the day? If I was in my hometown, I'd be talking, 6'5", which is Bruce Reeves. I'd be talking Eric Saunders. I would be talking Jasper Vaughn. I would be talking Tyrone Wallace. And the list goes on, Scott Walther. I would just, list it up top to bottom. Who are some of the greatest playground players that ever played the game, and I could just go up and down the guys that I played with, as I call him, barnstorming, Godfrey Wilson, Ray Sherlock Thomas. The list would just go on and on of great guys that played. Some played college, but then some of them that once, if their college career was over for whatever reason, that's for that. That's not for us to discuss at this moment in time. But in that, for whatever reason, their career was over. They were able to come back to North Carolina or Southern Pines in our hometown and actually make a difference in people's lives on the playground? How did they pour into people? How did they pull those young guys like Coach Collins, Antonio Johnson, Ken Spencer, Sherman Pride, guys that I went to high school that went on and played in college and, had a successful career. Those young guys, when I say young guys my age, when we were playing, they would pull, Coach Collins off. Think about it. Let's capture that real quick. So we would be out playing in the park in Southern Pines, and so you would have a player such as Coach Collins, who was, maybe a freshman or sophomore in high school, going up against, caliber guys that had played, Division I, played junior college basketball, for grade reasons why they wasn't at Division I, but could have played at Division I. But again, that's a little insight. But they would be able to pull those guys to the side, and you know what? Here's the beautiful thing about it. Those guys, they lean, they listen, and they learn. So they were able to take that. So Coach Collins went on and had a great career at Eastern Kentucky University, where he was the first basketball player ever to win Male Athlete of the Year. I will say that again. Coach Bobby Collins, head coach at Maryland Eastern Shore, was the first basketball player ever to win Male Athlete of the Year at Eastern Kentucky University and was inducted into Eastern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame. So, you know what? And grew up in Southern Pines, North Carolina. So the Sherman Prides of the world from Aberdeen. Ken Spencer from West End, who is now the head basketball coach at Fayetteville State University, who played for the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. These gentlemen were able to, listen. They were able to learn, and they were able to lean, listen, and learn, and were able to take their craft. And as Coach Capel always told us, you ride that train until it's time to get off of that train. So they were able to do that. And listening to these legends, and the legends in the street ball, playground. I don't like to say street ball. I like to say playground legends. So they were able to take these playground legends, roll in, and do great things. So with that, we're going to be back in about 30 seconds. This is Coach Goins. Always see you then. Sure that we are dialed in, pulling off everything that we're pulling off. Hey, there's my son. I see him in the background back there. Looks like he's, what's he doing? Oh, he's got his fishing pole. So those of you that know Brad, he is a big-time activist, and he loves to fish, and he's going out and make it pop this morning. So cool beans. Also, just as we were talking about the playground legends, and how does that look, and what does that look like, and how do you how do you become that person? So we are very, very excited with the concept, with the idea, but again, it's still in the beta state. So if you are interested in participating in that, or can set that up or help me find these guys or ladies, please give us a shout at ltgoins@yahoo.com. Hit us up on Facebook, and also hit us up on Basketball More in the Game. Carol, what's going on? Hope all is well. Hello to you, and if you're in Raleigh, make sure you give Uncle Cecil a shout. So we're all good here in VA, but then, most importantly, what we want to capture on today's broadcast is as we approach basketball season, what do we need to do? What do we need to look out for? And what do we need to make sure that we're dialing in to that entire process? As we always tell the young guys, make sure that you're working your game, working your stride, and continue to focus on the things that you need to focus in on. The classroom, make sure that you dial into the teachers to make sure that you stay academically eligible. You don't want to fall out there and do the first semester. Next thing you know, you're sitting in the stands paying that $5 rolling in, because you're not able to get it done. So hey, listen, as we start to wind this broadcast up, like I said, we just wanted to jump on this morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Who would believe it's like October? And I'm outside this morning with a pair of flip-flops on. I got actually my Axe basketball shirt on. And it's nice, it's beautiful, and as I said earlier, I'm treating myself to some French vanilla donut shop coffee. My wife's in taking care of breakfast. My mom will be coming down, so we're gonna be popping off real soon, jumping in, and just kind of doing a little fellowship and kind of hanging out. But as we always say in Basketball More in the Game, I just want to just bring this out. We definitely want to thank everybody, because it's been an absolutely fantastic 6 months. We're closing in on 2,000 downloads, about 36 episodes, and as I said earlier, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher. podbean.com, also SoundCloud, YouTube. So as we continue to spend some time with our audience, spend some time on the grind, as we always call it, we are taking off, and I certainly appreciate everybody from, California all the way to Michigan, to Maine, to Texas, in all of our international markets. Thank you so much for your comments, your feedback. So, hey, listen, as we continue, what we're doing on the podcast, and sometimes, we'll do a simultaneous like I'm doing this morning because I just, was led to do it this way. Hit us up, let us know, hey, coach, hey, can you, possibly get an interview here, or can we talk about this aspect of the game, on this aspect in life, just like with the flag. I was watching the NBA the other night, pregame, Charles Barkley and those go on. A lot of times, Charles doesn't get to just do. Or some people say that he's, pretty radical. But you think about the players in the NFL. You think about the players, that's just in professional sports, and the demand on their life, their prestige, the money that they're making. You know what? And I'm not getting into the money aspect of it, but what I'm saying is, if they united in a way with the owners to be able to say, we can go back into these communities, we can go back into to our hometowns, and we can really, really make a difference, and understand their lives, and understand their contracts, and understand their obligations, because it's all about making money. And I understand that. That's why Coach Goins gets up Monday through Friday and gets up and go and take care of the grind. But what we're calling out here is, how do you leverage your local hometown heroes to be the impact that they need to do, and making sure that everything is addressed. Okay, nobody's disrespecting the flag. And I'll say this. A guy asked me the other day. He said, "Man, you're a minority. You're a veteran. What does that look like?" I said, "Well, you know what? Why are we all jumping on Colin Kaepernick's bandwagon when, in fact, Marshawn Lynch has never stood up?" So, but again, you know what? Because he's sitting down on the side, and it's not a big thing. But now all of a sudden, Colin Kaepernick, he kneels. Time Magazine gets a hold of that. But for what, we're losing sight of, the whole thing. And just like I tell somebody, because my family defended the country, and I'm not disrespecting the flag. The flag is always hanging always hangs at my house. Every day when it's half mast, I drop it to half mast. But that's because that's what I believe in. But it doesn't bother me as a veteran or minority, okay? Because that is why we live in America. If a person wants to do it, okay, you know what? Guess what? Coach Goins is not telling you to go down there and rob the bank. Coach Goins is not going down there to tell you to pump gas and not pay for it. But when that happens, it happens. And when people decide to make a stand and do whatever they want to do, they have counted up the cost. So when they count up the cost, that it's on them. That is their struggle. That is what they're doing. Now, in that, as my pastor always say, we gotta look out, because a great message that he ministered not too long ago: caution fools ahead. Every time you go out, you're going to encounter some people that sometimes you scratch your head and say, wow, why do people do what they do? But they do. That's just human behavior, and that's human life. And we live in the greatest country in the world, and that's the United States of America. And I'm not saying that because the flag is hanging behind me. And it's not staged. Anybody that knows me, my flag is always hanging every day. Walk out and proudly display it. And take it down in the evening before the sun goes down, to make sure those stars and stripes are flying the way they need to be flying. But most importantly, one thing that we want to make sure that we're calling out is that we understand why we do what we do. Okay. Also, I just seen one of the guys. Actually, I was thinking about this young man the other day. I saw a post that he put out and was thanking me for what I was doing. So I want to take this opportunity and give a shout out to my homeboy, Craig Ingram. A lot of people don't know. Craig and I grew up together in the great, great city of Southern Pines, North Carolina. We used to play football right out in front of Harrington's Chapel Church, right there on Carlisle Street. Our mothers, they were in a choir together. Miss Ingram has gone on, and Craig, my mom's here with me now, so I'll definitely pass that on to her, that you joined the show this morning. But appreciate your comments, appreciate your support, and again, just thank you for what you are. He's a fine, fine man. He's a husband. He's been married for numerous years. And that's the testament. When you get out here and you find guys that's on the grind, taking care of business, have a beautiful home, beautiful family, and you kind of stop and you go back and you go, man, you know what? We grew up, we ate some of the same food. We were able to hang out at some of the same spots, and and some people said, "Man, y'all play football in front of the church." Wherever, you think about it, where would you want to be tackled? Would you want to be tackled down the street, or would you want to be tackled on that holy ground? So when you tackle on holy ground, it's a different type of feel when you hit that turf. But all in all, because you know what, that's where we were. We were there. Our parents were at choir rehearsal. So why shouldn't we be at the church? Why shouldn't we be there playing on the church ground where number one, we're safe. Our parents are just inside of the church. Why would we be down the street, at Podger Pews? Why would we be riding bicycles somewhere we had no business riding? But that's the town that we grew up in, and that's where the direction that our parents instilled in us. So, as the old saying goes, apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and we see that, hey, we turned out all right, and we're doing fine. So, brother, I appreciate you. I appreciate your continued support of basketball more in the game, but most importantly, it's the pride of the folks that we grew up with in the great city of Southern Pines. I know a lot of times when I come home, it's an in and out, and I don't get around to see all the folks that I love to be able to see when I get home. But most importantly, there's no place like home, and there's no place like Southern Pines, North Carolina, to where my mother and father grew up, and that's where we were born and raised. Yep, that's the AmeriGas truck going down the hill, because I guess somebody's getting some propane, because it's that time of year up here in VA. Don't have the heat on yet, but you better get it, because in a couple of weeks it'll be pretty chilly. But no, Craig, we appreciate you. We send our love from Virginia. And like I said earlier, I would definitely pass on to my mother. And again, wishing you and your brother and sisters, continued success in everything that you put your heart and hands to do. So, folks, Coach Goins has been on the grind the last couple of weeks, doing some traveling. And again, getting the word out when we were on campus of Fayetteville State University down participating in the Capo Camp this week. Just had my mom back up. She's going to be with us for a couple months, just hanging out on the chill. So, as we continue to layer this down and as we continue to move forward, always remember, no matter what you do, make sure that you do your best. Make sure that you got your sneakers laced and you got them laced up tight. And make sure that you're getting your homework squared away. Coaches, make sure that you're on the grind. Make sure that you're taking care of the players, because here's the thing: there's nothing ever greater than having the opportunity to be called coach. And I want to thank all of my coaches over the years of my life, all the way from my first baseball coach, Mr. Don Hill, who I've had the opportunity to reconnect with. And I think Coach Hill is. He's in his late 70s now, and again, a great opportunity to see him. All of my coaches doing high school, of course, Coach Capel, and again, all the coaches that I work with now. Such an honor and a privilege to be called coach, and we can never lose sight of the importance of what we do to the kids that we impact. Because as I tell the guys when I'm in the gym, and I'm around, oh my gosh, every year since we started the program. When we started our entire sports program here, we had about 70 kids soaking wet. Now we're in excess of 500 kids. So in that, in 4 years, we've gone from almost 70 kids to over excess of several hundred kids. And the thing is this, and here's what I always tell people: if I'm able to have one child to be able to catch it like I caught it from one of my favorite coaches, Coach Capel, just because of what he did for me personally, what he did for me, and allowed me to have the vision, and allowed me to really bring the whole basketball more in the game podcast into existence. Because as I sat down and I saw the concept and I saw the idea, I said, man, what could I do to really impact this world? And that's just to be able to give back a free avenue for folks to be able to go on and just listen to. Again, we're not professional. We try, we put a professional product out, and I've never played professionally. I've never coached professionally. But what we do, we take everything from, and it's all experience. And the only way you get experience and how you trust what Coach Goins is saying is that you listen and you sit down and listen to our interviews and the people that we have on, and understand that what we're trying to do is make sure that we're bringing you cutting edge stuff by quality people, and not just letting anybody on, because I am accountable for everybody that is on my show. I am accountable for everything that is said on this show, and I understand that wholeheartedly. But what we're doing is we are impacting the world. So from the staff of Basketball More in the Game, from my co-host, Mr. Mike Quick, we wish everybody a great, great Saturday. God bless America. So good to have everybody on. Thank you all for your continued support throughout the United States, as well as all of our international listeners on the podcast, Basketball More in the Game. And as we always say, make sure that you have them laced up, dialed up, and tied up nice and tight. Now, before we get out of here, I always got to end on my scripture verse as I get it. Craig, if I was organized as you, I'd have it memorized, but I always make sure I've got my card right here nice and handy so I can make sure that I say it and say it correctly. It says, and always, as it says, John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So until next time, I'm your host, Coach Goins, and we'll see you in the gym.